Yeah. So in the last class, we checked there is an issue over here. So there is G, I place G over here because G values are not available. So what it will show? Nothing it will show in the output. So here we are having the class pre-function interface. Defined. I mean, these are the predicate function interface. This is the name of the class. And I declared an array that consisting of three values. Array of strings. We'll call it as an array of strings. And it can whether I mean it is a single dimensional array. So you have to remember this one. Again, I'm saying. So it consisting of three values. So by using this, we are going to check, is there any values that starts with S? There are two values starts with S. One is a sun and one more is a stars. So by using the predicate functional interface, what is a predicate functional interface? It is a Boolean valued function. Boolean in the sense, what is a Boolean? Boolean is a true, either true or a false. So this is a functional interface that represents a predicate having a Boolean valued function of one argument. Boolean valued function of one argument. Okay, only one argument is allowed. So whether it is an object or integer or a string or some other primitive data types, according to our own. So we have to check it out. Okay, for this sense, I directly mentioned in this way. Initially, how it look like while you are developing predicate, predicate is equals to, let me declare a string over here. Okay, new. What is the use of a new? When you create this, the heap area which is available inside a Java virtual machine, what it will do? It creates an object over there. Again, I am telling you, what is the use of a new keyword? By using this, the memory allocation will happen by JVM. The memory will be allocated by JVM in heap area only for the objects and the arrays also. So here the initialization takes place. Arrays are nothing but an objects only. We consider arrays as an objects. Okay. By creating a new, predicate of. Yep. So see in this, only one argument is allowed. What we discussed, only one argument is allowed. Let me close this tag. Yeah. So here the S is the variable name of the argument. What is the argument type? It is a string. So it is saying that it is returning by default false. So this what we did, just we simplified in the lambda value. We'll call it as a lambda. So we'll call it as a lambda, LAMDA. So in functional interfaces, the predicate consisting of this type of context. I mean, according to our usage point of view, we have to use that. So according to our usage point of view. So here in this sense, I'm checking whether any value that starts with a S. So in that sense, what we need to do, this is the value. We need to pass the values over here. We need to pass these values. So like that, S, it starts with the S. I'm going to take that one. I'm checking. This is a string value. And then how you are going to check that? The string consisting of a method starts with, how to access that method inside a string by using a dot operator. That starts with what the name starts with. Inside a double quotes, we need to place yes, because this is a string. That's why we need to place a double quotes. What we discussed about the char data type, the char data type allows a single value, single letters inside a single quote. I think, let me, again, I will tell you, there is nothing. Okay. I will take it as a C is equals to. So initially, if it is like an array, we'll go for this braces. It is not like this, then we'll go for a single quote. Within the single quote, we have to place some S. So this is how we declare for a characters. Only single characters are allowed, and we be inside a single quotes. This is how we declare a char. let me delete this just for the information about what I said. So in the sense of a strings, it must be in between the double quotes. Okay, this is the difference between a string and a char. Okay, so what is the function over here? What is the function over here? So we are checking inside an array whether the value starts with s or not. What is the main usage of a predicate? It is mainly Boolean valued function. It is a Boolean valued function that allows only single argument. That only allows a single argument, and it is having only one method, which is an abstract class. Sorry, abstract method. Only one abstract method is allowed. So what is the why we call it as only one abstract method? Because every functional interfaces allows only one abstract. Other than that, it is not possible. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So this is the implementation of a predicate. So we are using an enhanced for loop. Let me rearrange it. So what is the two forms of a for loop? One is a normal for loop, another one is a for each loop. The for each loop we will call it as enhanced for loop. Enhanced. Please remember the names. So the normal for loop and enhanced for loop. Enhanced for loop is also called as for each loop. So here we are using enhanced for loop. This is the enhanced for loop or for each loop. So what is the declaration? How you are going to do that? Okay. So this is the string and this is the variable name of the string. By using a colon, I'm going to assign all these values to this. Here only a single value will be taken at a time. Only a single value will be taken at a time. First this one, next this one, and next this one. When I am going to assign the values for each and every iteration, these values will be changed. The st name for the first iteration, it is a sun. For the next iteration, it is the moon. And next iteration is the stars. So for the first iteration, I'm checking the condition. If p dot test, what is the p? Here the predicate's variable name, p dot test. But test consisting of, by using this object, I'm going to call the abstract method available inside this interface. So p dot test, but the test consisting of an argument. One argument is available. I'm sending that argument to this. How to send that argument? It should be a string value because I mentioned a string over here. Sorry, I mentioned a string over here. Okay, and now let me delete this and place it as s. One value came over here and it has been sent to, so first sun, sun. The sun came over here. This is the calling function. This is the calling function. I sent it to this and then it returns over here. What the return statement consisting of? The return statement consisting of s, which came over here, and checking whether it is starting with s or not, whether the value starting with s or not. Yeah, the sun consisting of starting s. Okay, it will be printed and then it will go for the next iteration. So next it is the moon, so it doesn't have s. And next for the stars, yeah, there is a starting value is s. Okay, let me run this program. See this one. So the array consisting of a values starting with an s. This is the usage of a predicate. So remember this. What is the main usage of a predicate functional interface, which is a built-in functional interface available in Java? The main usage of it to check whether it is a true or a false. Check for the condition. It's a Boolean valued function. Okay. Remember this one. Okay. Next one. Binary operator. So the binary operator interface has an abstract method apply which takes two arguments and return a result of the same type. So it is nothing but I don't know how, when they used till date I didn't use this binary operator. Sometimes I used a predicate, but the binary operator is is like, so it is having two arguments. In the sense of a functional interface, the functional interface is nothing but having one abstract method. Only one abstract method is allowed. So along with that, static and default also allowed. But it consisting of a method. See this one. Where is it? Yeah. So it takes two arguments and returns a result of a same type. So actually with the common methods and all, we can achieve this one. The common methods, by the implementation and all, we can achieve it very easily. But by the binary operator usage, still I don't know this one, because yeah, I'll check it out. And it returns the result of same type. So here the arguments are two. Let's consider the arguments as a two string values and return the result as the same type, in the sense, yeah, we'll get the same string value. The value as a result of a specified an argument. Okay, we'll check the example so that you will get a clear idea about this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I will keep it, because after the completion of the unit, I need to paste it inside your document. Let me create one more thing. Where is this? Dell projects unit 3, right? Yeah, here it is. Okay, we'll go for a new Java class. And what is the name of it? Binary operator functional interface. Yep. So the binary operator is also predefined, I mean, which is available inside a Java. So what is the usage of it? What we are going to do this? It allows a two arguments and gives us single value as a return type with the same type. With the same type, in the sense, if both are strings, then the string value will be returned. If both are integers, the integer value will be returned. Okay. For this, I need to mention, like, yeah, public static void main. String arguments. So what is the usage of this? While sending command line arguments, we can send those values, or else for the testing point of view, we are using this, and the compiler came to know that this is a main method. Then only the compiler came to know that this is a main method, or else it can't be identified. Okay. About binary operator in functional interface. Okay. So for this, I'm going to take two values. Wait a second. Share this out. Where this? Functional interface, where it is. Yeah, I got the usage also. Let me show you the example first. I want the usage. Okay, binary operator. So what is the usage of binary operator? Sorry, how many arguments it is going to take? Only two arguments, and returns only one argument. So this is how binary operator is equals to new binary operator. See this one. Let me take it as a string. Sorry. Okay, sorry. We need to mention initially the string over here, or else it throws error. Okay. String, string. Yeah. Now the values inside a method will be changed. So the default method, the default abstract method consisting of the binary operator is an apply. So what is a binary operator consisting of inside a predicate, we are having a test method, test abstract method. So inside a binary operator, we are having by default an apply. So let me head over here. So see this one represents an operation upon two operands of a same type. Same type in the sense that it consisting of a two arguments producing a result of a same type as an operand. This is the specialization of a bifunction. It is somewhat different compared to another another functional interface is available like a function. Function is a predefined word inside a Java, which we call it as a functional interface. So it is somewhat equal to that. So basis on that, it allows only two arguments. So this allows only two arguments, and then it produces of the same type. Only it will return only a single value. So I will take it as a s dot concat s2. We'll check it whether it prints or not. I'm going to send the values. So inside, how we are going to pass the value? Let me take it as binary operator dot apply, and I'm going to, this is the calling function. By using the object of a binary operator, I'm passing the values sun comma only two arguments stars. Yeah, I'll do it as a, yep, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it should be inside a system.out.println, or else it won't throws anything. String str is equals to this, and I'm going to print the values system.out.println, and it is str. Yep. So this is the operation what we did. So this is the usage of a binary operator. What is a binary operator? Binary operator is a predefined functional interface available in Java, and it consisting of an abstract method, which is a default abstract method apply. Again, I'm telling you, binary operator is a predefined functional interface available in Java that it consisting of an abstract method, which is not implemented inside that. And if you want to use that, we have to use in this way. So only a single abstract method is available. That's why we'll call it as a functional interface. How you are going to reduce the code? By using this, by using a hyphen, and there is a greater than symbol, we'll call it as a lambda. See this one. So it consisting of a two arguments s and s2, and what we are doing, what we are returning the statement s dot concat. What is the concatenation? Addition. Excuse me. Joining two things. What is the usage of a concatenation? There is a method available inside a string object. I mean string class. The string class consists of what is a yes? These two things are of a same type, and a returning of a same type. This is how the usage of a binary operator. Okay, please remember this one. Just only 3 lines of a code is enough to explain about it. And initially you have to write some matter. So what is that matter? What is a binary operator? Binary operator is nothing but a functional interface. So the binary operator is a predefined method available inside a Java. So which we call it as a functional interface. The functional interface in the sense that it consisting of only one abstract method. So inside a binary operator, we are having a method, only one abstract method called an apply. Okay. So this is how, and this is how we declare the binary operator, and the usage of it is it returns only a single element of a same type what we took as an argument. If these are a string, it should be a string. If these are integers, this should be an integer in that sense. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about function. So what is the function? The function interface is also one of the predefined functional interface available inside Java. So it has an abstract method apply. So this is also having an apply and this is also having an apply. So that's why I said there is a relation in between these two things. I mean, it is somewhat similar to this. Function takes, apply, which takes an argument of a type T and returns a result of a type R. Type T in the sense, the same thing what we are passing over there, but the return type is R. R in the sense somewhat different compared with the T. So here it is of a same type, but it was a different. Let me show you 1 second. 1 minute, just 1 minute. Yeah, sorry. Actually, some updates are going on. That is the issue with my PC. That doesn't matter. Yeah, okay. My recording. Yeah. So it is the function is a keyword which is available inside a functional interface. What is the uses of that? So simply we are going to tell when compared with the binary operator takes two arguments and gives only one arguments of the same type. But this takes one argument and gives somewhat other argument. I mean, returns other value. Both are having the same abstract method, which we call it as an apply. Let me share you my screen once again. So I'm going to create one more class for this. Java function functional. Okay, we'll directly we'll get the functional interface. So for this, we need to take a public static void. Okay, so inside this, I'm going to take the function keyword. So how to do that? So what it consisting of? Let me take it as a function. This is a keyword. This is a keyword. Okay, let me declare this function, and it takes arguments. Sorry, it takes two values over here. So I'm going to take two values. These are not the arguments. Okay, it takes a two values. I'm going to take yeah, string. I will take as a string, which is a good for us. String, sorry, string, comma, string. So in your final year, there is a wrapper classes. By that you can understand very easily. Actually, you don't have that one over here. Checking as a, why you are going to take these strings? Yeah, we'll take it as an integer and a double, which is good for us. Integer, and this is like double. I'm going to delete this. Yeah. And the name of the function will be like, I'll take it as a function, variable name as a function, and what it consisting of, how you're going to declare that. So the same, it is like the binary operator, that it consisting of a value apply. So sorry, abstract method. The only one abstract method is available similar to the binary. So this is like only a three, I mean, same, think it as the same. But while we are passing the arguments, only one argument is allowed. And check it out one thing, we are passing argument over here as integer, this one. And here we are returning a double over here. So over there, we are taking a two string values over here and returning the same string. Again, I am telling you what is the difference between this one and a binary operator. The binary operator having a two arguments, which is of a same type and returns the same type in binary operator. But here, this is the first one, which we considered it as an argument, and we return the another type. Okay, this is the usage of a function keyword inside a functional interface. What we are going to return over here. So if it is like, I mean, yeah, we'll take it as a by 2. No, we have to represent this one. Yeah, I'll take it as an int. Int a. No. We have to take a double, or else it throws error. Okay, disturbance. Double a is equals to a by. Yeah, okay. Some disturbance is going on. That's why I just muted it. So why I'm taking this? No, I need to get this value, right? I will change this number as a. A is equal to a by 2. Yeah, it should be a double one. It should be double. Every time it is showing a. Yeah, okay, it's okay. I will copy that one and I will paste over here to save some time. Yeah, directly will represent like this. That doesn't matter. So I'm going to remove this. So A, and how you are going to write a lambda value. This is good for us. So which is easy for us to learn. So A divided by 2.0, which is good for us. So this is how we are doing. So this is the argument, which we call it as an integer, and we are returning the value, the double. So which is easy. Actually, there I am suffering like, so what we need to take. This is a good for us. So here, this is the argument we are passing. I'm taking that argument and I'm dividing that by 2. And I'm dividing by 2. So which returns the values as a double? This one. the first argument is an integer and the second argument, I mean, the returning value is a double. So remember this one, and it consisting of a method, abstract method apply, the function consisting of. How you are going to take that? Double s, sorry, d is equals to, I'm going to take the function apply. Okay. And inside that I'm sending 10 over here. So how you are going to print that? System.out.println, and I'm going to print d. So what will happen if I take an integer over here? It throws error because the functional interface that it consisting of a return value double. When I'm going to initialize it to the integer, it won't allow. So required type is int provided a double over here. So it is expecting an integer, but we provided a double over here. That's why it is showing error. So we need to mention a double, sorry. DOUBL double, and I'm going to print that value. So this is a very easy concept like functional interfaces. See this one, the value is a double, 0.0. So after the decimal values, whether it is a float or a double, but in this sense, we mention the return type is a double. So what the function consisting of? It consisting of only one abstract method, which is named as an apply, and it takes one argument as one type and gives, and I mean, it returns a value of a different type. So here in this sense, we are giving an argument as an integer and we are returning as a double. So this is the usage of a functional interface of a keyword, a function. Only one abstract method is available. Actually, I think you got already this one. Let me this. So interface, yeah. So how you are going to mention that? Already I said about the annotation. If it is a functional interface, then we have to mention a functional interface over here. And what it is saying, no target form. So what I mean, for in this sense, I need to take, see, I will take as a void and test. Only one abstract method is allowed. If you are going to take one more abstract method like cool, yeah, it won't allow. So this is the usage of a functional interface. Remember this one. This is one of the annotation available inside a Java. So there are so many annotations are there. According to the usage, we are going to discuss that. So, and there is like at override, and we should not mention this one. Over here, I mean, let me show you that. I'm going to remove this. And I'm going to take a class name. So many names are available. I'll take it as a tuna. So it is like tuna consisting of implements, enter, yep. So throw error. So it should be implemented inside this. So this is one of the annotations. So I want to show you the annotation. So what is the override function? So the annotations is like, so I'm discussing about the annotations right now. What is the usage of it? So annotations is like, sometimes it is essential. Sometimes it is not true. I mean, sometimes it is a true. So here the overriding is okay because, so here we are going to take interface and we are going to implement that over here. So annotation is required. In the sense of an overloading, there also will do an overloading, I mean overriding concept. Like I'm going to take one more class. I want to show you the difference of. So sometimes it is true. The annotation is like, sometimes it is a true. In this sense, we are implementing the interface abstract method over here, which is a true. But in the sense of an overloading, which is not true. Let me take you that. Class check. I'm going to take a class over here, sorry. Class check to. So it is having a value void test. So this is a value. So how you are going to overload that? Void the same method name. Sorry. Okay. So here, when I'm going to use this as extends, how you're going to inherit the properties of a base class? By using a extends property, I mean extends keyword. So here, see this one. It is overridden, but the overriding annotation is not allowed over here at override. So sorry. So it is like directly it is asking for the override concept, but here it doesn't said like this is an override. By default, it is not allowing, but here we have to mention it directly. So sometimes it is a true in this condition for the implementation point of view. Sometimes it is not. So I'm telling you about the annotations. Sometimes every annotation shows the correct property, but sometimes they are not. It is not like, yeah, these are the perfect things. Annotations tells about the method, the variable, and some statements. The annotation tells about the methods, the variables, and also about the arguments also. What is the arguments are available and whether to, to get away from the warnings, we are going to use deprecated annotation. So in this sense, the usage of an, overriding method or like a functional interfaces, these are all tells about the information about the particular method or an interface or a class or a variable. Let me declare it as a variable also. In a is equals to 10. So we can tell what we can tell about this. So we can tell about it is an integer, sorry. Where the method deprecated. Sorry, it is not available. Yeah. To avoid a suppress warnings also, it will be okay. Actually, it allows somewhat different values, a string value. So it is like, I'm going to take you, I'm going to give you like 5 to 10 annotations for you. Just read those things. Okay, I will explain each and everything in a separate manner. So because inside of one program, if I mention everything, you will get confused what is usage of it. So think like today itself, we discussed about two annotations. One is a functional interface annotation and another one is the override annotation. So tomorrow we'll discuss about the suppress warnings and the deprecated at other, like at other in the sense I already said about this. Yeah. So here, when you are going to take descriptive comment and you want to tell about the author. So who is the author? It's me. Okay, it's like the name of the author. So this is also one of the annotations we are using inside a Java. So this is also one of the annotation. And one more thing is that I could deprecate it. Where is that, man? At description. So it is not showing it properly. Yeah. So okay. Yeah, see this one. This is the name. This is a deprecated method. So inside this, so many annotations are available, but every annotation is not necessary for you. According to the syllabus point of view, they mention only few things. According to the usage, we are going to use each and everything. So in this sense, this is the usage of an overloading concept. That's why here this is an overloading, but this is a override is allowed over here, which is not good, which is not correct in this sense. Here overriding is correct because I'm going to take the this one and I'm going to do implementation over here, which is a correct overridden method. But in the sense of an overloading concept, it should not allow. But why it is allowing an override concept over here, which is not a proper manner. So that's why sometimes they are good and sometimes they won't give the correct property. This is the main usage of an annotation. This is like a just introduction of annotation. Tomorrow we'll conclude it and we'll end the unit. Okay, and you may leave the class. Thank you.